Okay, guys, seeing how we're at halftime of of WrestleMania right now, really, really good night one. I enjoyed it a lot. Just so looking forward to tonight. Everything has lived up to the hype so far, at least as far as I'm concerned. Hopefully, you guys are as enthused as I am. But this is from Tap Out Corner, and it's another WrestleMania inspired collection. It's WWE WrestleMania moments that made everyone cry, and there's been plenty of those really, really tough emotional moments. The emotion in the second Undertaker Shawn Michaels match is largely why that's my favorite WrestleMania match ever. But let's check this
Some
out.
of the saddest moments in WWE history
Yeah.
have happened at WrestleMania.
I love you. I'm
Some
sorry.
will bring tears
That
of
was
joy, but
really
this first one does not.
really hard
On
hitting.
April 2nd, 2022, Cody Rhodes returned to WWE after 6 years away from the company. The next night, Cody said the reason he came back was to win the title his father, Dusty Rhodes, never
Was
won.
never
the
able to
WWE
grab, yeah.
Championship. However, things got off to a rough start when the American Nightmare tore his pectoral
That
muscle
was
off.
that was just brutal. I've never had a torn pec. I have had torn muscles on my back. That and the whole lower portion of my back looked kind of like that. I've torn hamstrings off the bone. The whole back of your leg looks kind of like that.
Less
So
than 2 months after
I can
which
sympathize
resulted
a little,
in
and
Cody
it
being sidelined
sucks.
for the rest of the year. However, Cody recovered just in time for the 2023 Royal Rumble. Rhodes entered at number 30 and won, guaranteeing him a shot at the WWE Champion Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Leading up to the match, things got very emotional and very personal due to Dusty Rhodes' real-life death.
You want to know what he used to always say about you? Nothing. But just know this. If there's anything that he didn't teach you, I will.
Finally, after weeks
That there were some really good promos leading up to all this. You know what, you guys? I mean, really solid. I enjoyed the one between Cody and Paul. I thought that was really well done.
April 2nd, 2023, exactly 1 year after Cody returned to WWE, the American Nightmare was about to accomplish what he came to do. Rhodes and Reigns' match was long and physical, but eventually
Was
Cody
a great
hit two
match.
back-to-back crossroads. However, before he could hit a third, a distraction from Paul Heyman and a Samoan spike from Solo Sikoa allowed Roman Reigns to nail a spear and win the match.
And win it.
Yes, this was a scripted wrestling match.
As I said, this year's promos. I should have distinguished when I said that. Not last year's promos were great too. Don't get me wrong, but this year's have been just stunningly
The emotion
amazing.
and disappointment were real.
I know people are proud, and I appreciate that, but this sucks. Really sucks.
While Cody's defeat was sad, this next moment brought tears to fans' eyes with just 5 words. After a roughly 3-month hiatus, Ric Flair returned to WWE
I
in
love you, I'm
November
sorry.
2007
Yep.
to say he would never
I'm sorry,
retire.
I love you.
However, Vince McMahon had other plans. McMahon said the next match Flair lost would result in the Nature Boy being forced into retirement.
It
The
does.
next few months were
It's
filled with heart-pounding
awesome
moments, as Flair did everything he
revisiting
needed
these
to
moments,
in order
though,
to
isn't it?
avoid retirement. However, in a surprise move, Ric Flair actually challenged Shawn Michaels to a match at WrestleMania.
I tell you, this one. I don't know about you guys, but this one for me, when watching it live, that one actually it got to me
HBK
good.
was hesitant, but
Got to
Flair
me real
insisted
good.
that he wanted to fight Shawn. At WrestleMania 24, the two legends laced up their boots and went toe-to-toe. Michaels and Flair put on a phenomenal match that only they could do. The fans watched intensely
And
the
at
entire
his
time
age,
and
the-
held on to every moment. Finally, Michaels
way
had a
Flair
chance to
worked that
switch to
match was
music,
just-
but was second-guessing
well,
himself. Ric
it
Flair
was just
saw
Ric
this and
Flair.
told HBK to bring it. This led to Michaels' famous line. Mr. WrestleMania hit his finisher and pinned the Nature Boy, ending the career of Ric Flair. The emotions began pouring out immediately after that. Once he got up, Flair was in tears, as were many others.
That's tough to watch. I mean, but you put yourself in his shoes. This business that he's been a part of and been at the top of for so long, and being an old guy myself, it's tough when you start having to look back on things and realize that they're now basically permanently in the
Well,
rearview
would
mirror. I mean, we know Flair's come back and done a couple of things, but for all intents and purposes,
again,
in the
outside
rearview
of
mirror.
WWE, it was still sad seeing a legend's career come to an end. Ironically, 2 years later, Shawn Michaels would find himself in a very similar position as Ric Flair. At WrestleMania 25, Michaels earned the opportunity to face off against one of his old rivals, The Undertaker. The dead man had never been defeated on the grandest stage of them all, and HBK would do anything to be the first man to do it. Shawn survived some brutal punishment, and at one point, fans thought Michaels might do the impossible. However, in
Those two matches, I don't have to tell you guys, those Undertaker-Michaels matches, again, they're things I can watch over and over and over.
In the end,
I
Mr.
never get tired of watching
had
it, but
his shoulders
especially
covered and became another victim
the one
of
at
the
26.
dead man. Afterward, the Heartbreak Kid
That was
became
so well
obsessed
done.
and won one more match with The Undertaker. After scratching and clawing, Shawn Michaels got his rematch with the stipulation that if he lost, he would retire. With everything on the line, Shawn laced up his boots and locked up with The Undertaker again at WrestleMania 26. The Heartbreak Kid gave it 110%, but despite his valiant effort, Michaels could not get the job done.
This one gets to me. I mean, even rewatching it now, the emotion of it really gets to me.
And suffered a second defeat at the hands of The Undertaker. Just like that, the career of one of the most legendary wrestlers came to an end. After the match, Undertaker helped his opponent to his feet and shook his hand. The Phenom then left the ring and let Shawn Michaels soak in the applause from the audience.
I don't know about you guys, and I know they can't show it because I think it gets claimed as soon as you show that moment, which I understand from the WWE. But where he works, Shawn is on the ground, works his way up, and slaps Undertaker in the face when Undertaker is considering not finishing him is just...
While Shawn Michaels had a happy ending, Booker T did
Perfect
not.
moment.
When Booker made his WWE debut in 2001, it was an uphill battle. Being that he was part of WCW, the company that tried to put WWE out of business, Booker wasn't welcomed with open arms. However, after putting in hard work, Booker T won a huge opportunity, a World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania. The champion Triple H...
Booker was always entertaining. I don't care what's going on.
He said,
"Somebody like you doesn't get to be a world champion."
Triple H made other personal attacks on Booker in the lead up to WrestleMania, so there was a lot of emotion going into the match.
Good heat.
This probably wouldn't have
Really
been much
good
of an
heat.
issue.
Oh, that was nice. I like that move. I'd forgotten about that one.
This
wow.
probably wouldn't have been much of an issue.
Well done.
Had Booker T
Now,
won the match. But not
these
only did
two
Booker
guys.
lose, but after Triple H hit the pedigree, it took the game over 20 seconds to make the cover, and Booker T still didn't kick out. The rivalry had all the makings of a rags to riches storyline, and all WWE had to do was let Booker T win. What could have been a feel-good, heart-warming WrestleMania moment turned into one of the saddest. But
I couldn't agree with him more on that, but we all know, I think we all know or agree that the WWE has made some very interesting choices with who they put over in certain
also pretty sad.
WrestleMania
the
matches.
Is easily one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. That's why it was such sad news when he
announced.
Yeah,
I think he makes a really solid, valid point there.
What
would have been so cool for him to
announced that Baron Corbin would be
give
Angle's final opponent. Fans want
Booker
just
a
about
run with
anyone
the
besides
belt.
Corbin to be the last person the Olympic gold medalist fought.
Excuse
Regardless, the two squared off at WrestleMania in a match that wasn't awful, but nowhere near worthy of being Angle's last match. The contest ended with Baron Corbin getting the victory as well, which made the entire thing a major disappointment. Fans were not only sad to see Kurt Angle
remember
retire,
that.
but also they went out on such a terrible note, not fitting of a legend like Angle.
For the most part, I tend to, well, I give my reactions as we go. I tend to agree with what this guy brings to his videos. He's right. That was very disappointing.
In 2013,
especially for somebody with the legacy of Angles.
By defeating John Cena and winning the WWE Championship. However, the moment was ruined when Daniel Bryan was attacked by Triple H. This allowed Randy Orton to cash in his Money in the Bank contract and take the title from Bryan. Daniel would try to become champion again, but he'd always get screwed by the Authority. Finally, after fans invaded the ring on live TV and refused to leave, Triple H agreed to fight Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. If Daniel won, he'd get to compete for the WWE Championship in the main event. Bryan pulled off a massive victory and beat Triple H.
That's
but
good
the game
stuff.
Wasn't playing fair. He attacked Daniel after the match.
You got to admit it. Daniel Bryan Danielson, was one of the least likely, to me anyway, guys to ever become a top guy with push due to the crowd. I mean, that's happened several times. So it happens all the time in wrestling, even in the indies. You know, a crowd just gets behind somebody. I never, at least for me, I never saw it coming with with
That was the
Daniel
championship
Bryan.
match in
Glad it
June.
did.
Despite
Made
all
for
the
some
odds,
great
Daniel
storytelling.
Bryan overcame each
And
and every one of
he's
them.
an excellent
the American
wrestler.
Dragon hit the running knee and made Batista tap out. After a long, hard-fought battle, Bryan had finally become WWE World
There you go.
Heavyweight Champion again. The fans celebrated loudly, and cheers of yes, yes, yes ran throughout.
You know
the
what I
stadium.
mean, though?
The underdog.
Did any of you see
While
that
fans
coming?
cried tears
That
of joy for
Daniel
Bryan's
Bryan
victory,
would be
they didn't
that
have the same
over, the
happiness
most
Brock
over guy in the
Lesnar
company
did
for a
earlier
while?
that night. For 2 decades, one of the traditions of WrestleMania was the
Oh, this was
Undertaker
really
and his
sad.
streak.
I was
the
so
dead man
bummed.
never lost a single match at the event, and every year a new opponent would try and defeat the Phenom. Every year, though,
He had
Undertaker
quite
always
a
had his
who's
hand
who
raised.
of
At WrestleMania 30, Taker was going up
wrestlers
against one
that
of
he
his toughest
took out in
opponents
that
yet,
streak.
Brock Lesnar. The Beast used his most powerful move, the F5, but
In hindsight, I mean, I personally, I understand the whole concept of leaving on your back and, passing the torch and all that, and I like it. But in this specific instance, Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania, I don't think it should have been broken. What do you guys think? Do you agree with that, or no, it needed to be broken at some point, even if you don't think this was the right point? That it needed to be broken. I don't. I think they should have kept it pristine. I think he should have retired undefeated at WrestleMania.
And Undertaker kicked out again. Brock hit a third 5.
I mean, you could have him leave on his back at another pay-per-view.
The streak had come to an end. Fans could not believe what they had just seen.
Yeah.
This is something people thought would never happen. And honestly, a lot didn't.
That was my reaction.
However, Lesnar had his hand raised and ended a legacy that took 20 years to build. One of the most iconic couples in WWE history was Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth.
never
That's
cared for
why
that
it broke
idea
fans'
of
hearts
breaking
to
this
see them
streak.
break up in 1989. They remained separated for nearly 2 years, and during that time, Savage got into a rivalry with the Ultimate Warrior. This led to a retirement match at WrestleMania 7. Unfortunately, Macho Man lost, which meant his in-ring career was over. While that was sad, the real tearjerker came afterward. Sherry Martel, who was the Macho Man's manager, was upset that she couldn't smooch off Savage anymore and started attacking Randy. Miss
going at him.
Elizabeth, who was watching in the crowd, couldn't bear to see it and jumped into the ring and saved Macho Man.
That was cool. I liked I liked the storytelling in that one and everything. That one got to me to be so campy and over the top. It was still fun to watch, but it didn't hit the emotions as hard as the others on this list for me. That was cool.
Fans were crying tears of joy.
It was cool, but just for me, it was like it got to be so cartoonish almost.
In 2010, Undertaker retired from being a full-time wrestler and started making a limited number of appearances. While it was still guaranteed that the Dead Man would always have a WrestleMania match each year, it was clear his time in the ring was coming to an end. Everyone knew this, but nobody was ready for it. At WrestleMania 33, over 25 years after Undertaker's WWE debut, the Phenom took on Roman Reigns. The Undertaker didn't make it easy, but Roman Reigns did defeat the Dead Man. This was not the sad part, though. After the match, the Undertaker was alone in the ring. He took off his gloves, coat, and lastly, his signature hat and left them in the middle of the ring. After that, the Dead Man left the squared circle and gave his wife a kiss. Finally, Undertaker raised a fist and left the building.
That one hit me hard. Of the newer generation, I mean, for a lot of you guys, because I'm such an old fart, for a lot of you guys, The Undertaker's the older generation. But for me, he's part of the newer generation, and he was my favorite.
Now, this wouldn't be the
Bruno Sammartino will always be my favorite wrestler for what he meant to me as a child. But my second favorite wrestler in history would definitely be Undertaker.
Now, it's hard not to get emotional watching this. What's really cool, though, is that even after the show is over, the production crew left Undertaker's gear in the ring as a sign of respect. Now, these are the WrestleMania moments WWE wants you to see, but there are others that they do not. Watch the video on screen to see the WrestleMania moments.
They don't want to see. Oh,
from history.
We might have to check that one out too. I'll try and remember to bookmark that one, and we'll check that out. Even though the next video will be after WrestleMania season, it can be WrestleMania season all around if we're hardcore enough fans. That was a good list. I enjoyed that list a lot. But yes, I'm still a little salty that Undertaker's streak did get broken.